ages. So today I decided to share some funny, awkward, I don't know, kind of childhood stories with you guys, because a couple of you guys suggested it a while ago in my video where I talked about that I needed suggestions, and I thought it was a really good idea, but I haven't made it until now because I have a very bad memory, especially when it comes to like my childhood. There's not a lot of things that I remember, but I've really like sat down and looked at pictures and really tried to remember all these things. So I have a few stories that I can share with you guys, and if you want more, please let me know in the comments and I will try my best to figure out some more stories and maybe ask my mom if she has some funny stories. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Also, I'm filming this like in the middle of the night, which is why the lighting is so weird, because the only lighting I have is the LED lamp thing on my camera, and that's also why my hair and my makeup is very, very sloppy and lazy today, because I've been inside my apartment the entire day almost, so yeah, it's been a great day. I have a new tattoo that I haven't shown you guys just before we start. I can't see what I'm showing right now, but I hope I'm showing it. I think I am. It's just a little Hello Kitty. Okay, so the first one I have, I think I talked about it in my pretty old video called 25 Facts About Me, I think. But I don't remember, and I'm going to tell it a little bit more now, because a lot of people haven't seen that video. So yeah, it's a story about the first and only time that I can remember that I have stolen something. And I wasn't in kindergarten. I think I have been like between the ages of 4 and 7, maybe in between that, 3, 6, I don't know, about that time. I was a small child who played with Barbie dolls. And I mean, I was in this kindergarten daycare thing at the time with my best friend, and we played with these Barbie dolls in this room, and we were alone in this room. And she turned to me and said like, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if you had these Barbie dolls at home? So then we could play with them every time we were at your place. And I was like, yeah, that would be pretty cool. And I didn't thought about the fact that I was actually stealing them. I just thought that it would be cool to have these Barbie dolls. So we snuck them into my bag, and I knew it wasn't right, but I wasn't thinking like, oh my god, I'm stealing right now. But I still had that feeling like, this is not good, you know? And then I got home and my mom unpacked my backpack, and obviously she hadn't packed any of these Barbie dolls and she knew that they weren't mine. So she asked me where I got them from, and I was like, well, my friend gave them to me because she didn't want them anymore. So my mom thought that was so weird, because I mean, it wasn't just 1 or 2 Barbie dolls, it was a lot of Barbie dolls. It was kind of insane how many we could fit in that backpack. So my mom called my friend's mom and said like, oh, you know your daughter has given her like half of her toys. And then her mom was like, no, she haven't. All her toys are right here. And then my mom got angry, because then she kind of figured it out by herself that I might have taken them from the kindergarten daycare thing. And it was so scary. So yeah, that's the story of the first and also the last time that I ever stole something. I don't remember ever stealing anything. I might have when I was been a kid, but I don't remember doing it ever since that day. So I mean, I guess that's pretty good. I learned my lesson. Then, also in kindergarten, I must have been also like 3 to 5 years old or something like this. Maybe a little, I don't know, again, bad memory, but around that age. Me and one of my friends, who was a girl, and one of our friends, who was a boy, we were playing outside in this kindergarten, and then we got the idea that we didn't want to be in the kindergarten anymore. So we escaped. And it wasn't like, as I remember it, there was fences that like made sure that the kids just couldn't walk out, obviously, but somehow we managed to get out, and I don't remember why or how. I think I should say, I don't remember how on earth we could get out, because I obviously there are some things, fences to keep the children in, and the doors, like the handle is way up here so the children can't reach. And there are adults like looking after us, obviously. But I don't know how on earth we got out of that place, but we did somehow. And we decided to go home to the girlfriend that we had, who was with us. So it's me, a girl and a boy. We decided to go home to the girl. And before going home to her, I was so stupid because I was like, well, maybe I should go home and ask my mom if it's okay to visit my friend now. I didn't think about the fact that my mom might get mad that I had run away from the kindergarten, that I had escaped. But I thought it was a good idea to ask my mommy first, because I was just really stupid as a kid and I did not think things through before I did it. So I was walking along, and I just want to remind you guys, I lived in the middle of nowhere. To get from the kindergarten to my place, you had to walk for like maybe 30 minutes as an adult, and I was this little child, so it would take me a long time to walk home. And my mom's house, and also the house at that time, is right outside a huge road where there's a lot of cars driving very fast, and there's no like crossing over the road. Cross. You know, those white stripes on the road that make sure that people can walk across it without dying. Those things weren't on that road, and I have to pass it like twice to get home, I think. Luckily, I did not get as far to the road. I got just outside to the road and was about to cross it when another parent to one of the other kids in the kindergarten saw me and picked me up and was like, "You're coming with me," and then she drove me to the kindergarten. And at the kindergarten, my friends had been caught as well, because they were there when I got there, and I was like, "What are you doing here?" And apparently the girl that we were going home to, her parents were home, so when they got to her place, her parents were just like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they sent them back to the kindergarten. So that is the story of my great escape, as you can say, because I seriously, I have no idea how we got out of that place, like, because we couldn't climb the fences, especially not me. I have never been able to climb trees or fences or anything like that. I've been the clumsiest person ever, so that is not an option. I don't know if the door has been open or something, I don't know. But it was a great escape, and I felt like, right now thinking back, I feel like I've escaped some sort of prison or something, because how on earth could I do that being like this small? How? I don't know. So another kindergarten memory. I know I've been 3 to 5 years old at this time, because I remember the room I was in, and that is the room that I was in with, like, when I went to the thing called kindergarten. And here in Denmark you're like 3 to 5 years old when you go there. So I know that I've been around that age. I was in the small room, a lot of my friends had gone home. I don't know, I was getting picked up late, I guess, from my mom, I guess. Not a lot of kids at the kindergarten, so I was just alone in this small little room. And the adults weren't in there because, you know, there are kind of limited adults in this place. And yeah, I was just sitting in there. I closed the door, just chilling by myself. And then in there I found a pencil on the floor. And I was like, oh my god, I want to draw something. But I didn't have any paper, and for some reason I was too lazy to get up my butt and go get some paper. So I looked around and I saw these white walls all around me, and I was like, this is perfect. So on one of the walls I drew a princess, but it was like, it wasn't like the whole wall at all, but it was like still, it was probably this size drawing on one of the walls, so it was pretty big and not that good. It wasn't just like a little doodle. So I was just drawing that, having fun, and when I was done with it, I was like, this looks good. I'm happy with the result. And then it struck me. I was just like, holy shit, I just drew on the wall. The adults are going to be super pissed at me for doing this. So I placed the pencil down and I walked out, and the second I opened the door and walked out, one of the adults was standing right in front of me and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, nothing, and I walked out. And 2 seconds after I walked out, she would come and find me and ask me why I had drawn a pink princess on the wall. And I was just like, I haven't done that, what are you talking about? But obviously she knows it was me because I was the only one in that room, all alone. So I don't see why she would believe this, that it wasn't me, because I was the only kid around. All the other children are some other places. So yeah, that's the story of another crime. I feel like all these stories I've told so far are like me being total rebellious and just like breaking the law according to kindergarten laws, at least. So yeah, I was a super badass as a kid. I stole things, I escaped like the fucking kindergarten, I did graffiti all over the walls, man. I was hardcore. Around 7 or 8, me and 2 of my friends were sitting in this room and we were just hanging out, not really doing anything. Again, a lot of things happened in that kindergarten slash daycare slash thing, after school thing. Everything happened. And we were just hanging out in this room. I was looking through this book that I found about some like African insects, not insects just, but like nature in general, animal stuff. I don't really remember exactly, but and I was just looking through it, and then there was a picture of a spider, like you saw it from far away, and we was like, ugh, that's so gross. And I always had a little bit about spiders. It's gotten worse over the years. I have like serious problem with spiders now. And at that time I was really not too happy about spiders either. So that one picture far away freaked me out a little bit. So I just kept on doing this, turning the pages in the book. And then I got to one picture that freaks me. I can still see it in my head and it freaks me out to this day still, just thinking about it. It's just gross. It was a picture, like a close-up picture of a spider. Like, you know, those pictures, I'm not going to show you guys because I'm not even going to Google that, but you can Google it if you want to, close-up of spiders. It's terrifying. Like, you're really close up of the face, you could see every details in the eyes, you could see those fang things that they have. I don't even know if it's called fangs. But it was the worst thing, most terrifying thing I've ever seen, and I can still remember how it looks like. And I threw the book away when I saw that. I was just like screaming and threw it away. And my friend, we were really good friends. She was a good friend to me. But sometimes she was the worst friend. So being the worst friend at that time, she grabbed the book, she saw the picture that freaked me out. And it didn't freak her out as much because she's just tougher than I was, I guess. And then she grabbed it, held it like this, and ran after me. And I ran and I ran. She ran after me and she ran faster than I do. So she was like rubbing it all over my face and I was just like, go away. And I ran and I started crying and screaming. And we ran just back and forth through the whole kindergarten thing. And the grown-ups were like freaking out, like, what's going on? And then I locked myself in the bathroom, finally escaped her. But it's one of those bathroom boots that like, if you go up here you can like look up, or there's this gap underneath it. So being the dick friend that she was at the time, she took the book, opened it, and slid it under the door to the bathroom. And I didn't want to touch it. I have something, if there's a picture of a spider or something, I don't want to touch it, and I still don't want to do it because it just, I don't know, it freaks me out to just even touch it. And also at that time, so I was just sitting there like staring at the book. I didn't even want to like, just like kick it away, because then I would touch it with my, oh, it freaked me out. I was just screaming, and one of the adults had to come and kind of grab the book, stick his hand under, grab the book out, and then close it, and tell my friend to get the fuck away from me, and take the book, and then I could come out. And it was just terrifying. Like, seriously, I was so scared. So yeah, that is the story of one of the traumatizing experiences I have with spiders. And terrible friends, no offense. but that was not nice done if you're watching this. She was a good friend though. So the next story is a little bit later. I think I must have been like 9, 10, 11-ish, because there's this one friend who I think was there, and I didn't get to know her until I was like around that age, maybe a little later, I don't know. But like 9, 10, 11, not more than 12. We had this like science nature class thing at school where, you know, we learned about a little bit of science, a little bit of nature, a little bit of everything, those kind of things. And this one time we were going to learn something about electricity in the house, and it sounded so boring. But then the teacher, he wanted us to build our own house out of like cardboard things or something like that, and everyone was so excited about it. Even I was really excited to build this, because you could build your house, and we got permission to draw on it and do stuff like that. And I was such a dick as a kid. I was a horrible person. So even though I was excited about this, before we started he asked us all about, so we're going to do this and this, so are you ready for it? Are you up to it? Do you want to do it? And I was just like, no. And it was just a joke. I didn't mean that I didn't want to do it. Because I really wanted to do it. I just said no as a joke, to be funny, to be smart, to be the cool kid in class, to be the hardcore kid that I used to be when I was in kindergarten, stealing and breaking out and stuff. So I just said no, just for fun, and I thought he would be like, oh yeah, let's do it, you know? That was not how he did it, because I don't know if he just had a really bad day, but the second I said no, he was just like, alright, we're not going to do it then. Just open your textbooks at page this and this, and then you can read that. And everyone in class hated me for it. I was like, I felt so bad because I didn't mean for this to happen. I don't know if he was tired of my shit or if it was just a bad day he had, but seriously, me saying no was the thing that just pushed him over the edge, and then he just cut it all off and dropped it. We did never build those houses. We just read those textbooks for like an hour or something like that. And I was the worst person in the class for that time. Everyone thought so. And I understand that, but I didn't mean this to happen, seriously. So yeah, that's the story of how I got everyone in my class to hate me. The last story is the story of my first boyfriend. It's a very short story because it was a very short relationship. And it was so weird. And at the time, I was like devastated that I lost my first boyfriend this way, but now I just laugh about it because it's hilarious. But yeah, there was this guy in the neighborhood where I lived with my father. We lived in these apartment things, and then the apartment next to our apartment building lived this guy that my brother and at that time my stepbrother, they played a lot with, and I also played with him because I had no friends other than my brothers. So that is why I also played with him, and he was a year younger than I was, and for some reason we started dating, and it wasn't like, I think I was like 10 years old, so you know, dating. He wasn't my boyfriend like you would say now, but yeah, and it was so weird. We were like, I think he asked me over text message. It was back then, I think I just got my first phone, and I was like, oh my god, I can text message. So I'd been like 10 or 11 at the time, I think. And yeah, and there was not much of a difference in like our relationship thing. Like before, when we were just friends, we just hung out together, played together, watched some TV shows together. Now that he was my boyfriend, we did the exact same things. After we'd been together for a week, maybe 2, not more than that, he broke up with me. And very shortly after, like very, very, very shortly after, he started dating my best friend. My first and only boyfriend that I had has been like dumping me for my best friend when I was like 10 or 11. And that's just so sad. But yeah, after a while, they got like way more serious than we ever did. Like they kissed and hugged and held hands all the time. We never did that, but yeah, I got a little jealous there, I think. But you know, after a while they also broke up. But they actually lasted pretty long, considering that we were kids, but yeah. That's the story of my first boyfriend. That are some stories. I did not know it would take this long. Press the like button if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and thank you for watching.